Hello, everybody. Welcome to our 7 o'clock webinar.
Welcome,
and
guys. Welcome.
My name is Anika. I have with me here Cathal. So while we are waiting for people to appear, we can ask them some questions to introduce yourselves. So tell us your names, where you are, and where you're from, what's your job, and so on. So what is your name? Where are you? Oh, yeah. So please introduce yourselves. So maybe we can start with ourselves first. So Carl, do you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Cathal. I'm from Ireland, and I have been working in Milano Meravigli for just over 1 year now. So just over a year and a bit.
Okay. And my name is Anika. I'm from Bangladesh originally, and I used to live in Malaysia before I moved to Italy, and I've been living here for about 6 years now. And we're both teachers in Myes Meravigli. Okay, so these are like interesting days. So I hope you guys are doing well and everything's great. You're all healthy and fine and spending
Absolutely.
your time well.
Yeah. What are you spending your time doing at the moment, Anika? What are you up to?
Well, these days I'm reading a bit, like I'm doing some reading, sometimes rereading my favorite books. And I have been calling my friends and family a lot these days instead of just texting. Somehow this situation has brought us together in some
Yeah.
ways. And yeah, watching some movies as well. What about you, Cathal?
Nice. Oh yeah, I'm fully on the movie train at the moment. I just got Disney Plus. I just downloaded the new streaming service for Disney, which is like all Disney movies, Pixar, Wars, Marvel, National Geographic, um, I am very much diving into those series right about now.
Very cool. I've been talking about this today with Chago, and I think I'm gonna also like get into it a little bit. Disney Plus, it's a good tip.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So if you
absolutely. And
guys are
like
watching
it's one
now,
of those
or
things where it's
go ahead, Cal.
like a subscription thing where you're like you pay €70, but it's like totally worth it because of all of the things that you can
Ooh,
do and you can get with it.
cool. And I love Disney
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Chiara. Welcome. Chiara from Parma.
Well, Clara, nice.
Oh, Clara. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. So welcome. So today we're going to talk about advanced networking, and our topic today is in the door. So before we get started, what is in the door? So Carl, do you think you want to talk a little bit about in the
Yeah,
door?
sure. So in the door is a phrase, guys, that we use for anytime you're trying to enter into, say, a company or just a group in general. But most of the time, it's used in a professional sense. So we'd say you're in the door is when like you are first like initiated into the company or into the group. So
Yeah.
you're not quite fully part of the team yet, but you're on the way. You're in the door.
And that's a position where networking is important, isn't it? So you get to know each other and want to build rapport with everybody
Yeah,
when you're in the
absolutely.
door.
Yeah.
Now, here is the plan for today. So first, we're going to talk about socializing with clients and colleagues, making stylist small talk, and phrasal verbs. So if you guys don't already know, small talk is a little bit of chit chat when you want to get to know each other. Not so about something serious, but you just want to not just to get to know each other, but when you talk about things that are not specifically important, but just to build rapport with somebody you want to talk about lighter things. And phrasal verbs. So let's get started. So here we're going to read a little article here, a little story, let's say, where Brian Fedham, he's an architect, he's on his first day with his firm 2 years ago. So he talks about his first day, and we're going to read about it and talk about some vocabulary, discuss about what he says. So maybe Cathal can read the paragraph if you want.
Absolutely.
Pronunciation.
I gotta lean forward in this one because I can't really see it that well. My first day. Where do I even start? When I arrived, I found out that they were expecting me a week later. My contract wasn't ready. They told me to go home. Ultimately, we sorted it out, and I was able to work. Okay, interesting first day.
Yeah. So
All right.
he was told to get back in 2 weeks. Has that ever happened to you, Cathal?
So it didn't happen to me, but the first day, like if I was talking about the first day that I was in Myes, I remember the first day. Not that I was working, because usually when we talk about your first day, that's like your first working day, so you're not really talking about like the first day that you're there, because some companies, like, I don't know about you, but I remember for when I arrived in Italy, the day that I arrived in Milan, I went straight to the school because I didn't have accommodation, so I was like kind of hoping that I could just bring my stuff there and just be like, can I just leave this in like a back room somewhere as like my stuff, and just be like, I need to search for a spot. And they were very kind. They let me put my things into the staff room, and so I started searching for places to live there. And while doing so was doing some training as well.
Nice. So your first day at work in Italy was your first day in Italy?
Yeah, first day in Milan. Yeah.
Nice.
It was
So
interesting.
Clara or whoever is watching, let us know about your first day at your job. Like, what was it like?
Yeah. Do you remember what your first day was like, Anika?
Well, my first day in Myes was really nice. So the very first day was a training day. So I just had a few hours with my director of studies, explaining me a few things, and then I had to get home. I had to go home. But my first working day was really nice. I met up with some of my colleagues, and who were very friendly. So all the teachers in Myes are really nice and friendly. Teachers, consultants, everything. And I got to know everybody. And I had 2 lessons, if I remember right. And the students were lovely. And it was a great first day for me, actually. So
nice.
Yeah. And here we have another question. How do you treat new hires? So the word hire may not be familiar to some. So hire can be either a verb or a noun. So as a verb, it means when you allow someone to work for you. When you allow someone to start working for you, you hire that person. And when you hire the person, he is a new hire. Okay. So how do you treat your new hires, or how should you treat your new hires? So you can feel free to answer anytime you want. So while we're waiting, maybe we can discuss about it. I definitely think that new hires are already a little bit worried about making a good impression and trying to fit in. So maybe it's a good idea to let them feel relaxed in some ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what do you think, Carl?
No, for sure. I mean, I would have always said that you should treat people, it doesn't matter who they are, the way that you want to be treated. So anytime a new person has started working with me, I've always tried to be kind of nice and friendly,
Mm.
and hopefully come across that way.
Yes,
um,
you definitely do.
and
Knowing you, I think
nice.
you really are.
Oh, here we go, Clara. Nice. Yes, she's given a great count here. Her first day at my
Yeah.
job was nice. I spent time to meet all my colleagues. I couldn't remember the names, and I started to training with my mentor. Nice, very good. Just one or two
Yeah.
things Clara might say. I spent time meeting all my colleagues. So you could say, I spent time meeting all my colleagues. I couldn't remember the names, yeah. And I started to train with my mentor. So you are the trainee. Like when you say trainee, is like that's the person who is training. So the trainer or the mentor is the person who is conducting the training. But you started to train. Very nice. Very good. Very good.
Great. Okay.
Excellent.
So we have a lot of tasks here, so we're gonna move on quickly to the
Mhm,
next topic of
mhm.
today. So here's a case study of Alpha London. So I can read the text and then we can discuss the questions below. So Alpha Apps is a London-based app developer looking to expand into gaming world, into big gaming world. A prerequisite for a growing company is a growing staff to keep up with the expanding workload. Alpha has just hired new programmer Akron Benedict. He wants to hit the ground running and get on well with his colleagues. But first he needs to win them over and make good impression.
Nice. Very good. Very
Okay,
good.
so the question is, how does getting on with your colleagues affect workflow? Okay.
Mm.
So lots of words over here that we can talk about as well, especially the ones in a prerequisite and hit the ground running. So if you already know the meaning of it, please type it up and
Mhm,
send it over.
mhm.
So in this case, it said a prerequisite for a growing company is a growing staff. Keep up with them. Yeah.
So nice. Clara made a very nice point there. A new colleague has recently, before the beginning of the quarantine, joined
Mm-hmm.
her team, and I tried to make her settle in. Then I was friendly and carrying on with this attitude. Nice. Very, very good to be continuing with that attitude, Clara. Nice. One thing
Yeah.
maybe you wouldn't say make her settle in, because if you say like
Mm-hmm.
if you want to make someone settle in, that's kind of like to force them to do
Of
it.
course, yeah.
So you might want to say instead of make her settle in, help her settle in, because make in this kind of way might mean that you're kind of forcing someone to do something. So I want to make you say something to like force you to say something. So help her probably is a better one. But nice, yeah. Good to hear that you're being a kind and friendly person in the workplace, Clara. Expect nothing
Yeah.
less. Clara's fantastic. She's a couple of these webinars.
Yes. Friendliness makes it so much easier. Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
Hmm. So maybe we can discuss the words here, prerequisites. So
Hmm.
Carl, do you want to explain the word and then I can take the next one?
Yeah, sure. So prerequisite, guys. You even like whenever you come to a word that you're not really sure of, try to break it down into smaller parts, so that you can kind of try to understand it a bit better. Okay, good, Clara. You're not forcing her. Thank God. Good to hear you're not forcing it. So prerequisite. So pre is the prefix that we use for talking about before. So before. Requisite, it's like a requirement. So we could just say a prerequisite is like a requirement before a company begins, right? So for a growing
Yeah.
company, so something that should already be in place is a prerequisite.
Yeah, something that's required before. And hit the ground running means when you start by working really hard and become successful immediately. So, for
Mhm.
example, a lot of companies expect new employees to hit the ground running, like
Yep.
immediately start working hard and be successful.
Yep.
Okay, so so here's an
Uh,
interesting question at the bottom. How does getting on with your colleagues affect workflow?
mm.
Hmm. So
I guess
getting
it
on
depends on
with
the like scenario, or it depends on the workplace, the type of workplace that you're in, because some workplaces require you to get on with your colleagues, whereas some of them don't really.
hmm, yeah, some work involves really independent tasks, like you have to
Mm,
work on your own. Yeah. Oh, Clara here says, I think that it's very important to get. I'm gonna make it look bigger. To get on well with the colleagues because it
mm,
has a huge impact on the way everyone works. I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, also if the environment is nice and friendly, you feel more motivated to work.
yeah, for
So also
sure.
go ahead. Yeah. If there is not a good environment, the person doesn't do his or her best. Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So yeah, very
Yeah.
good, very good. Just be careful of the third person there, Clara. So the person, like he or she, would be the third
Hmm?
person. So doesn't do his or her best. But yeah, nice, good points. Good points being made there. What do you think, Anika?
I agree with Clara. Yes, the environment makes it easier, definitely. And if the environment is not good, it can be difficult. Like it can be a little
Mm,
bit stressful or something. So
yeah,
friendly people like Clara herself makes it really nice and easy.
excellent. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Okay, so we can go ahead and discuss some irregular verbs, really common ones that we can see here. Um, okay, I'm sorry. So I think we're gonna discuss it still on the same slide here. I was thinking we have some other exercise to do it in.
I think that the
Uh,
next one might be the exercise. I think it might be the one including in it. I'm not
yeah.
sure, but let me just go to it real quick and we'll
Uh,
see.
okay, we can just go. Yeah, let's go ahead and see. Um,
Oh
yeah.
no, sorry.
Okay.
It
I
is.
think.
It isn't. I don't think it is. It's actually. It's different one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah.
My bad. My bad.
That's all right. No worries. So we can just discuss some of the phrasal verbs here. If you already know what it is, you can just type it up, Clara, or whoever else
Mm,
is watching. But since it takes time for us, for the comment to reach us, we're just going to go ahead and discuss it because we have loads of this vocabulary today. So,
mhm,
to keep up with the expanding workload, so this is when you have to be on the same pace as something. So if you keep up with, for example, if you keep up with fashion, you're in the same speed as fashion. So fashion is always changing, going forward, and if you're keeping up, you're in the same pace.
mm.
So do you keep up with fashion, Cathal?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am a terribly, terribly unfashionable person. If I could, I would wear hoodies and jeans all the time.
Uh,
That would be me the whole time.
right. So you prioritize comfort.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not like a fashionable person, so I just prefer
Cool, cool,
what I'm wearing.
cool.
Hmm.
Nice.
So Clara's got an interesting question here. Is hit the ground similar to hit the road? So, good question. Very, very good question. In this case, no, they're not the same. Ground
Mm,
running is, as Anika said, to start into a task or something with good force and good energy. Whereas hit the road, if you tell someone to hit the road, it's like basically telling them to go away. So hit the road. So I don't know if you know, there's a song. called "Hit the Road, Jack." Quite a
Yeah,
famous kind
very
of
old song.
bluesy, jazzy song. Yeah. Great song. It's like "Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more." It's like go away and don't come back. Hit the road.
Yeah. Hit the road is like, okay, so we could define it as go away.
Go away. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. So yeah, not the same as hit the ground running. Hit the ground running is surely a positive phrase.
Yeah.
So like you want to hit the ground running in a new company. So then the next phrasal verb that we had was to get on with.
Hmm.
So Clara, actually, you use this very well in your answer. So it's very important to remember the both of the prepositions because we
Hmm.
have get on with, right? So the two of them together, because if you remove one of the prepositions, the phrasal verb is different. Because if you say get on, that's like to embark onto something,
Hmm.
or if you say get with, is like to like pay attention to. It's like come on, get with it, or like understand
Get
it,
with it.
pay
Yeah.
attention. Yeah. So get on with, and it's usually get on with someone, is to have a good relationship with them, and you can include some sort of other word if you want. Get on well. I get on great. I get on badly. Whatever you want to say in the middle of that to kind of just emphasize what type of relationship you have. So yeah, get on with.
Yeah. Okay. And the last phrasal verb here we can see is win them over. So first you need to win them over. So when you win someone over, you persuade them or make them agree with you about something.
Yeah.
So if your job is as a salesperson, so you have to win over your clients or customers to convince them or persuade them to buy your products.
Mm.
So yeah. So Clara here says phrasal verbs are always simple things to learn.
Ah,
I can
yes.
I can hear the sarcasm in your in your
Excellent.
comment there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're dead right, Clara. No, it is one of those things. I don't know about you, Anika, but at first when I started teaching, I did
Mm,
not like teaching phrasal verbs because I didn't like completely understand them.
mm,
And I'm like a native speaker, obviously, so it's kind of strange to try to teach other people. But I guess Clara, a way to um kind of try to learn them a bit easier or to try and make it a bit easier for yourself is simply to go through the prepositions because there are too many phrasal verbs to learn all of them. And like Anika and I will both say that we do not know all of the phrasal verbs that there are because there'd be too many to to count.
yeah,
So if you know what the prepositions mean, then you'll know what the phrasal verb in general means. Because we know a phrasal verb is a combination of a verb and a preposition. So the verb alone has its own meaning, right?
mm,
Get, keep, win. All these verbs have their own meanings. But when we
mm-hmm.
include the preposition changes the meaning of it. And so
Exactly.
if we know what the preposition means, we understand what the change is. We can then understand what the phrasal verb means in a kind of general sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
sure.
so it's kind of one of those things. You just need to learn how the prepositions work, really.
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah, the prepositions, like there are so many. And another tip I think for learning phrasal verbs is to watch movies because it's very often used in conversations and informal conversations. So the more you watch movies or listen to some like informal contexts, you will
Hmm.
notice them and like really notice them in context. So you'll be familiar to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So moving on to our next case study, let's say. So meeting the team, part one. So Stephanie Tran, sales specialist. You've got quite the resume for your age. So I I imagine this is the employer speaking. So where do you think you'll be in 5 years? So that's a very common question they
Mm.
ask in an interview, don't they? So Akron Benedict says, in 5 years, let me get my crystal ball. Well, when I started my last job, I had difficulty keeping up with the workload. Eventually, I settled into and understood my role. With some hard work, I picked up the skills necessary. In 5 years, I don't know where I'll be, but I want to keep improving. I think he gave a great answer there.
Yeah,
It's really hard to
that's a really
say
good answer
what
today.
to say in
I'm
five
gonna I'm
years.
gonna take a picture of this answer and maybe use it in the future.
Yeah, let me get my crystal ball here.
Oh yeah, hold on. Oh. It's like started off with a bit of a joke and then kind of break it into more seriousness, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Make light of the situation. Okay, so here we have more phrasal verbs. Surprise, surprise. So
Uh-huh.
find the word in the text for, there are three definitions given, and we have to match them with some phrasal verbs in the text. So, Clara, if you already know them, if you can find them, please type it up. Let us know. So,
Yep.
stay up to date, obtain or
So,
learn something, and feel comfortable.
mhm. So I think we've had two of these already anyway. So stay up to date was one that we've explained on the previous slide, which is, of course,
Yeah.
keeping up or keep up with, right, to stay up to date.
Yes. Great.
And then maybe to feel comfortable, I think that
Hmm.
Clara might have said this one uh, before in one of her comments. But the obtain
Hmm.
learn
Oh,
one.
she's got
Oh,
it.
look at this. She's got it. Got it in one. My
Oh,
goodness.
great. Well
She's too
done,
good.
Clara. You've
She's
got
too
this.
good. This is ridiculous. She's too good at English. I'm
Brilliant.
sorry.
Excellent. Okay, so pick up and settle into. Perfect. So settle into and understood my role. Great. So settling into a new place is always hard, especially if it's a new city.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I found it very, very difficult to settle into Milan. Just because
Yeah.
I didn't pick up Italian for a while, and I also didn't have an apartment for a long time. So I was like
Oh.
moving around from
Hmm.
place to place for like the first 2 months. So
Hmm.
I had to wait for a while to get into an apartment, but eventually I settled
Yeah,
in.
yeah, I had a similar experience when I moved into Rome because the first time I came to Italy, I was there in Rome, and yeah, the language was really difficult for me at the beginning. So it was
Yeah.
really hard to pick up on like different words and expressions. But once I got there, it was much easier. Oh,
Mhm.
Clara here says, haha, I'm improving English. Improving English. Sooner or later, I'll speak as well as you teachers. I really hope that.
Hey,
Yes, you will.
we hope so. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the spirit, girl.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Now we're going to move on to the part two of the same meeting.
Hmm.
So, Jenna Mazda, Human Resources, says, every day is a battle here. How did you deal with project problems at your old job? Akron says, sure, we ran into problems here and there. I remember a few years ago our biggest client wanted to cancel a project about months of work. I kid you not, I thought it was a joke. At the end of the day, we managed to integrate the old project with their new requests. It wasn't easy, but we figured out a way to make it work. Okay. So again, Acorn gives a nice answer with an example of something that happened in the past, which is not so easy to come up with during the interviews, I think.
Yeah, because like you don't really know the questions that people are going to ask you in advance, so you just kind of
Hmm.
you're kind of just like there being like, oh well, maybe I'll know the answer to this next question. Oh God, he's asked me a question. I don't know what the answer is. Oh, as you're kind of making it up on the spot.
Yeah, yeah. It's really nice to think of the examples of problems that you have faced, that you have solved in your past jobs.
Mm.
So here we have different definitions underneath, and oh, great, Clara is way ahead of us. So she says the for finding a solution, figure out is the phrasal verb. Very good, yeah, and
Nice,
you're
very good.
absolutely correct.
And
Okay,
encounter,
encounter,
very good. Yes.
ran
To
into. So she's
not
asking, and
not
you're
ran.
right.
The ran is
Yeah.
very good though. Very
So
good.
in the so run into. So if this is a new word for you, so for run into, for example, what can be an example? Other examples of run into? Have you run into anybody recently?
Yeah, exactly. I guess
Yeah,
another one for encounter, you could say another phrasal verb would be come across.
very good one. Yeah,
To
it's very
encounter
common.
something, or maybe to like find something. So we came across problems here and there. We ran into.
Mm, yeah. Okay. So we're gonna move on to part three of an interview here. Um, So Christine here, who's the
Hmm.
lead programmer, says, "We like switching programmers from project to project. At your old job, did you move around?" Then Acorn replies, "I mostly did server maintenance and risk analysis, but sometimes they need extra help on product development. I was always mortified and felt like giving up immediately. But you know what? Sometimes deep inside this brain of mine, there's a little creativity. It was a great experience, and I really got on with my colleagues that I normally never worked with." Okay,
Mm,
so once again, great answer.
yeah.
Oh, Clara has a question here.
Ah, yeah. Does run into
Hmm.
also mean bump into someone? It can mean them. I mean, bump into someone is really nice phrasal verb to use, and it can be used more so for chance. So like by coincidence,
Mm,
um, you encountered someone. That's how I would use bump into. Whereas run
mhm.
into is, yeah, I guess you could use it in the same way. Although I'd use run into more in the like in the previous example where we ran into some problems.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say I bumped into some problems. You bump into someone. You run into
Mm.
something, maybe someone. But sure, bump into I think would be much more common for meeting a person by chance or coincidence. Good question, though. Very good question.
Nice. Okay. So we have more phrasal verbs here. So find the words or phrasal verbs in the text. Stop doing something and have a good relationship. And the second one's super easy because
Yes,
you've used it
we did that
before.
one already.
Yeah. But stop doing something. That one is really common as well. So it would be like if you stop like smoking, then you smoking. Yeah, very good. So Clara's got this. So give up is to stop doing something. A good relationship, get on well with.
Nice.
Okay. Okay. Do you think we have missed something or we should move on?
No, I mean, Clara, is there any vocabulary in the last three slides maybe that you're unsure of? Any like particular words or phrases that you haven't seen before? I know stuff like um, mortified might be a little like new or something like that. As a
No.
mortified is
Hmm.
like extremely embarrassed.
Hmm.
I'm not sure about the other ones. Maybe if we just go back to the first one and the second one just to see if there's any other vocabulary that might be there.
Yeah. This could be useful for someone who watches this like even after the webinar is over.
Yeah, absolutely.
So workload maybe could be not that common. Like the amount of
Mm-hmm.
work you have is the workload.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a lot of work to do, you have a heavy workload, for example.
Oh, she's got a question here. Deep inside this brain of mine, what does it mean? Does it have a literal meaning? No, like they're not saying deep inside, like literally, like physically, there's something there. He's saying that
Hmm.
like inside, like not obviously not at the front of his brain, or not at like the part of his brain that he uses the most, but deep inside his brain, maybe in the back of his mind, where he's not really thinking about it. He's probably thinking, like, saying more like in his subconscious. There's creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't really
And
use deep inside this brain of mine that often.
I think it's a lot, in also a humorous way of saying it. Like it's not a really serious way, like in a funny way, you would say. Sounds a bit funny.
Exactly. It's like kind of, yeah. It's like rather than just saying, "Oh yeah, no, I have some creativity somewhere. I just don't know where." So saying
Yeah.
it in the verse, oh, deep inside this brain of creativity.
Yeah. Also, he's being a little humble about it. He's not saying I'm a creative person, but just deep inside somewhere I am.
Yeah, exactly. A bit of
Okay.
humility. Exactly. Why not?
Hmm. Okay. So maybe we can move on. And this is like a quick review of what we already talked about. So we have figure out. So maybe I can read the phrase verse on the left, and then maybe Carl can read the right column.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you already know the answers, Clara or whoever, just type it up. So we have figure it out, get on with, settle into, run into, pick up, give up, and keep up with.
And then on the right hand side, we have cooperate with, encounter, obtain or learn, feel comfortable with, stop doing something, stay up to date, and find a solution.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can go ahead and match them. Figure it out. What would it be, Carl?
So we said figure it out before was to find a solution.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to get on with, as we talked about before, would be cooperate with. Yeah, to have a good relationship with someone, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then what would be settle into?
Settle into, as we said, was to feel comfortable with.
Great. And then we had run into, which means to encounter. And then what would be pick up?
Pick up, as Clara is saying here, very good, to obtain or learn. Nice.
Nice.
Clara,
Okay,
she's
so
getting
we've
them
got
all.
home.
Nice.
Okay, you're on fire. Okay, so I'm sure the answers will
Yeah.
keep coming. Stop doing something. Excellent.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, keep up with is to stay up to date. Nice, nice.
Well done.
Okay, so here are some interesting questions to practice this phrasal verbs. Describe the last time you ran into a problem, and did you feel like giving up, or did you manage to figure it out?
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's share about our own experience. So Clara, please feel free to participate and tell us about your experience. Describe the last time you ran into a problem.
Mm. So, do you remember the last time you ran into a problem, Anika?
Well, I'm thinking about it.
Mm.
The last time I had a little problem, not a big one. So I had problem with my internet connection.
Oh,
And
classic.
yeah, it was a little scary actually. It was on a Sunday, so thank God I wasn't working that day because I really need internet connection for work. So What I did is like I had to go to the supermarket anyway because I always go there either on Saturdays or Sundays, and they have internet connection. They have Wi-Fi connection. So what I did there was to check like my WhatsApp and ask for advice, like if anybody else had the same problem or if they're using the same telephone operator and what to do. And yeah, but then somehow, and some people suggested, okay, it's common these days. So um yeah, I didn't feel like giving up. I really needed it, so I felt desperate at the moment. But after a little bit of patience, I didn't have to figure out anything because it just came back again. I got my
Nice.
connection again. Just needed patience.
Yeah, yeah.
What about you, Cathal? Anything you remember?
Ooh, I mean, like over the last couple of weeks, we've all encountered internet problems. I'm the same, like just Wi-Fi and such. I think actually, and Clara will remember this. Maybe the last time I encountered a problem was with the St. Patrick's Day event that we did, because we started the event and it was great. There was like 34, 35 people there, I think, if I remember
Mm-hmm.
correctly.
Yes.
And we were doing great. And then
Mm-hmm.
we tried to speak, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody started telling us, "Oh, we can't hear you. Oh, the connection is bad. It's so so." Half of the people left. And so at that
Oh.
time, I was like, no, no, I didn't feel like giving up, but I was like, okay, I need to figure out
Mm-hmm.
how to fix this. And so we ended up like turning off our when we turned
Mm-hmm.
off the camera, connection was a little bit better, and so that was kind of our
Oh.
solution to the problem.
Oh. Nice. Yeah, I'm so sorry I missed it. I really
Hmm,
was
hmm.
looking forward to it. But then I think I had something that
Oh,
day.
you missed a heck
Yeah,
of a party.
yeah.
Clara will be able to
Oh,
tell
I
you it was
wish
a
I was
great
there.
party.
Cool. Cool. I can
Okay, here we
imagine.
go. She's got a problem here that she's got. Okay, Clara's there saying, a few days ago I was making a cake for my flatmate, but I ran out of butter. It's a big problem if you have to make a cake. Yeah, oh, you're right, absolutely. But I didn't give up. I replaced the butter with olive oil. You replaced butter with olive oil?
Yeah,
Interesting.
you can do that sometimes. Yeah. It's both
Interesting.
fat. I
Interesting.
mean,
Yeah, exactly. I guess so. Yeah, I was just kind of. I'd never thought of it that way. I was like, oh, butter and olive oil. I was like, what?
ooh,
But yeah, I
Kyle.
guess so. It was a great event. Nice. Thank you very much, Clara. Yeah, good fun.
Yeah.
Good fun.
Yeah, and I just want to say that eggs are really hard to come by this day, so I really like to bake, but then
Uh,
in the supermarket where I go, like they're out of eggs. They never have eggs, so yeah. I don't know what to
unfortunate.
replace it with. Or maybe I should learn some recipes without eggs.
Hmm. Oh, I've been asking my family, particularly my sister, for all of her recipes for baking
Uh-huh.
because she is like the master baker in our house, and so anytime I want to make like
Hmm.
a big brownies or like cookies and stuff, I
Hmm.
always try to do it. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Clara
cool.
is saying there are some recipes without eggs, so there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys can exchange recipes then at some point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna look up on YouTube like eggless brownies or something like that.
Eggless brownies. I
I have
wonder
to
what that would
try this.
taste like. I can imagine, like, if so long as you have a substitute, so long as there's something that you can put in instead of the eggs, it should work.
Yeah.
I'd imagine so, anyway. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's no substitution for
Okay.
butter in any of my sister's recipes, anyway. She's just like,
Ah.
like she always just like just put so much butter into it. I'm like, that's not healthy. Can we like tone it down a bit? And she's like,
Yeah.
no, of course not.
Yeah. Well, it makes it like taste better for sure.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
So
All
here's
right.
some questions for discussion, and we're gonna first complete the questions. Yeah. So what was the last problem you blank at work? How did you blank? Sounds weird, but it's
How
blank.
did you blank? It's like, I'm gonna think of how did I blank? I'm not
Okay, so if
sure.
you know the answer, Clara, you can just write it down. So what was the last problem you? So I'm thinking of like a phrasal verb,
Yeah.
that means encounter.
Oh, I wonder what it could be.
And how did you? So what's the phrasal verb for solving the problem, I guess?
Mm. God, we're so smart. We're so smart.
So the problem you. So since we just have 5 minutes left, so I'm just rushing a little bit so we can go to the answer straight away.
Yes.
What was the last problem we ran into? How did you figure it out? Well, we have talked about it, so maybe we can go into the next one.
Yep.
So do you want to read out the next one, Cathal? Maybe, and then we
Absolutely.
can like take your
So, how long did it take you to blank your job? When did you realize it? Oh my.
to like your job.
Oh, very good,
Great,
Clara.
yeah.
Nice.
Settle into your job. So how long did it take you, Cathal, to settle into
Uh,
your job?
Not very long. I would say um, maybe like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like in terms of settling into the work environment,
Mhm.
yes. But I think like settling into the like into Milan was completely different. So yeah, absolutely,
Okay, I'm
absolutely.
sorry for the technical problem there. I'm gonna reshare the screen. I don't know why
hmm
it went through like all blurry and fuzzy.
This is a problem. We have run into a problem, a technical difficulty.
Oh yeah, and we have figured it out.
Hey, nice.
Oh, the answers keep coming. Great. So pick up and give up. I think you're right here. So what picked up? Great. At your current job, did you learn it fast? And she says, give up. Have you ever felt the desire to give up or
Mm,
stop doing something at work when things became too difficult? Great. So let's talk about them. And
hmm
so, yeah, I think it's a similar experience for me as well. I did not take much time to settle into my yes. It was very nice. It is a very nice environment. So it was absolutely not easy. So what about you, Clara? You can tell us about yourself. Like, did it take you a long time to settle into your job?
Mm,
And what is a skill you have picked up at your current job? Did you learn it fast? Hmm.
mm.
So, yeah, I don't know about you,
She's not
Carl,
sure
but I
about the
think,
last one actually.
oh, I don't know the last one. So, when you have too much to do, how do you, your workload? How do you, hmm. Okay, so I'm
I
just
guess
gonna
this
give
one
it,
is
oh,
probably like keep up with, right?
keep up
Yeah,
with your workload. Yes. I mean, which means like workload is increasing, it's getting heavier and heavier, so you have to like be in the same pace.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So speaking about the second question very quickly, so I don't know about you, Kahal, but I think I had to pick up on time management in during the lessons. So
Okay.
I couldn't keep up with the materials. I was very slow, but then I had to pick up on that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to pick up on something, Carl, in your
Yeah, my explanation skills, I think. I had to pick up like better explanation skills. And I think I did that through watching other teachers. Um, so my when I first started,
hmm?
anytime I didn't know how to explain something, I just kind of said, "Oh yeah, that's just the way it is in English," as a lot of teachers sometimes do. Whereas now I feel a lot more confident
Hmm.
in being able to explain things.
Yeah. Yeah, there's always a lot to learn from the others.
For
Oh,
sure, for
here we
sure.
have a comment from Clara. Nice. I
Very
settled
good,
into my
very good.
job quickly thanks to my colleagues who were friendly and helped me to learn the required skills. Excellent. Nice.
Nice.
Um,
All right.
all right. Well,
Yeah, we've come to the end of the
yeah.
webinar now. But Clara, well done for your participation, and you really nailed the phrasal verbs today. I hope you feel more confident with them now after that. And for anybody who's watching this afterwards, keep going with practice, as Anika said before. Keep watching the TV series and movies and such, and you'll be able to increase your vocabulary and increase your confidence with it as well.
And thank you, Clara.
All right.
All right. Have a great evening.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.